What's up, Laker supporters? It's episode 6 of the Laker Chisme podcast. I'm your host, Jacob. Just want to bring you the latest news with the Lakers and what's going on with their position in the league, the conference, the division. Uh, I guess the best thing to cover is the last two games against Indiana and Milwaukee. Indiana, they lost in the fourth quarter. They dropped it by 3, 102 to 105. And, these games are tough on the road. Lakers have been on the road for most of December. They proved themselves in the Western Conference, but they've had some difficulty with, obviously, some of the better teams in the East, not taking anything away from, Atlanta, Orlando, or Miami. But the Pacers have always given the Lakers difficulty. If you remember the days, Rick Smits, Reggie Miller from Riverside, they were always competitive. Now the Lakers are just encountering these shooters who are really good on the perimeter. Their perimeter defense is lacking. Their free throw shooting is lacking, and their turnovers are in abundance. So there's some much needed work that they need to kind of fine tune for the second half of the season. And I bring that up because it's late December, which means we're going into January. All-Star break is mid-February. So the Lakers are going to have, an additional 40-something games from that point. But right now we're about a third of the way through the season, somewhere around there. Not quite half, obviously, but definitely getting a chance to see what the Lakers can do. And right now it's a little rocky, like anyone would expect with any team. No team is going to go 82-0. It's not going to happen. Someone's going to get beat. Teams are going to get beat a few times, not only in their conference, but when they start going, especially on the road. It's not easy winning on the road. So Lakers dropped that game against Indiana by 3. They played Milwaukee last night, on Thursday night. Great game, exciting. AD is hurt. He's struggling. LeBron's struggling. Too many turnovers. They really got to lock down the free throw shooting, because in these close games with these elite teams in the NBA, the stuff they can get away with, quote unquote, with the teams who aren't as seasoned, they can't get away with the better teams, because they're going to take advantage of it and they know how to win. And what happened, at least from what I saw against Milwaukee, is that the Lakers went down early and they never quite could get back into it. And that is common with the great teams. They'll beat you in the first or the second. Some will beat you in the second half. It depends on how the game's going and the matchups. But what the Bucks do, because they have the youth and they have the size, is they beat the Lakers early, and the Lakers it was too large of a hill to travel up and overcome. And part of that is because they've been on the road for most of December and they're tired. I mean, let's be honest. So we can't expect them to get every game, because if you're playing back-to-back games, you're playing different altitudes, different weather. Even though it's indoors, you're still going to be affected because it's a different climate. I mean that socially and environmentally. You're going to have different people who are saying different things in the crowd than they would normally say at home. They wouldn't say those things at home. So when they go on the road, they're encountering just a different style of basketball. And what I've seen is the Lakers have come off their style. The defense looks pretty good, but they have to really lock it down on the three-point shooting, because that's a lot of their losses. The opposing team is getting good looks and they're hitting them, because these are young shooters. I mean, these are not, old dudes on the perimeter. That day's gone. This is a new NBA, like everyone knows about. So the Lakers just have to get more, I guess, smarter or more methodical as far as how they're defending the three-point line, because inside they have it, but they look worn down after this road trip, because this was another road trip, so it wasn't the same thing. So they have some improvements to do. I think Vogel should still tweak the starting lineup a little bit. I guess you could say my wish would be that they would start Dwight at the 5, AD, LeBron, and then Danny Green, and either Rondo or try Caruso out just for a game, just to see what happens, because they're going to need these lineups not just through the season, but as they get to the playoffs and the postseason, they're going to have to adjust, because the thing about basketball, it's not always your record or how many points you score, your standings. It's not really about that sometimes. Sometimes it's really about your matchup. And as you can see, the Lakers matched up well against teams in the West for the most part. When they played the Bucks, they had a lot of difficulty, because not only do the Bucks have Giannis, but they also have the Lopez brothers. You know, Brooke Lopez used to be a Laker. They have Robin Lopez, both out of Stanford, both Pac-12. You know, these are quality players. They know what the fuck they're doing. They're not amateurs, obviously. And so the Lakers have to adjust, and they have to come really strong and hard. But again, I think it's the fatigue and the injuries that the players are playing through that they kind of slowed down, in a sense, ran out of gas, because this is the tail end of a road trip, and you're playing the best team in the league as of right now. So I don't put too much weight into it. Again, this is the whole season. So we have one more game against Milwaukee, and guess what? It's going to be in LA. So that should be a different game. But that game comes on March 6th, which is 2 days before they play the Clippers for the last time during their season series at Staples. So even that, yeah, you might be home, but in a sense, you're playing the best teams in the league. I mean, it's going to be difficult, but the Lakers can do it. They're fully capable of doing it. They have to make tweaks, and they have to just get better, because, you know, I think there's only like a few players, a handful of players, maybe like 4 or 5 players on the team who are here from last season. So it's still a relatively new team as far as years go, or, you know, seasons, not necessarily this season, because they've been together for, you know, 30 games. But as a unit, they have to get more comfortable, and they have to be able to read each other, not just communication, but actually read one another on the floor. And that's what I see, at least from my perspective, looking at LeBron. Sometimes I don't think he's reading his passes correctly in certain instances, because they're off. But that's not to take anything away from him as a passer, as an assist leader, because he just passed up Gary Payton, and now he broke the top 10. He was already in the top 10, but now he's 9th in assists of all time. So his next pass, if you will, is Isaiah Thomas. So LeBron is fully capable of doing what he's been doing his entire career. It's just about cleaning it up, because this is a different season, it's a different game, different conference, different division for LeBron. LeBron's this first time out west, you know, last season. This is an extension of last season. And we have to keep in mind that last season the Lakers were 4th in the conference at Christmas time, before LeBron had his longest injury of his career, his groin injury, before he came back January 31st against Clippers. So it's just putting this stuff in perspective. The Lakers are not a sinking ship. The media is going crazy. We're talking about trading Kuzma. Kuzma's not even back. We need Kuzma. Kuzma's the 3rd scoring option. Everyone who is a Laker supporter knows that Kuzma is 3rd. But if he's injured, playing for the U.S. team, and then missing preseason, coming back to the regular season, getting poked in the eye, you know, now he's got an ankle, a mild ankle sprain. He could be back Sunday against the Nuggets, but that remains to be seen. But I mean, their defense can improve in certain ways, but it looks like Anthony Davis is a strong candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. And right now, aside from the Lakers' difficulties with, fatigue, exhaustion, traveling, being away from home, being away from their families, all that stuff, it seems like they're kind of, especially LeBron, is getting the Kobe treatment. And the Kobe treatment is no calls. Doesn't matter if you get fouled, you get hit in transition. You're supposed to have a free throw after your conversion. Doesn't matter. The refs are not going to call it, especially on the road, because that's not in their favor. So he just has to find a way to win with the team. And the greats always know how to do that. They know how to adjust and then make their game work for them so they can get these wins. So it'll be great to see what the Lakers do on Sunday against the Nuggets at home, and it's going to be beautiful to watch them play Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers on Christmas Day. Thanks for joining.